Hey guys, it's Jeremy again. We're going to do a slightly different video this time. Today we are going over liveries, just some of the basics of how to incorporate some of iRacing's templates into your designs. Some ways to use these kind of layouts as stencils to avoid pixelated lines, stuff like that. You can see there's tons of different options iRacing gives you to choose from. A lot of them kind of work with the car, at least parts of them, and so it doesn't hurt to be able to incorporate some of these bits and bobs into the car itself. This guide is for GIMP primarily. I don't know how any of these tools or instructions are going to translate over to any other softwares. GIMP is the software I use, mostly because it's free, and there's quite a bit of stuff that you can do with it, even though it's free. So we've got our PSD already pulled up for the Corvette. You're going to go to your car patterns, pick I don't know, whichever one you want. 11 was my baseball number, so we'll go with that. I pull it up here just below the mask. That way there's no decals or any kind of number boards or anything like that covering your paint at all. That way what you're getting is just this base livery layout. You're going to go into your channels, turn all of these off, red, green, blue, alpha, turn them all off. You're going to go back to your car pattern, right? Make sure that's the one you have selected. We're going to right click on red, hit channels to selection. We're going to go back to our layers. And we're going to come down here. Let me just minimize this. We're going to come down here just above our base layer. Okay, we're going to add a new layer. We're going to call this layer 1. We're going to right click on layer 1. We're going to add a layer mask. We're going to make sure it's on selection. And we're going to hit add. Okay. Now, if we want all the bits from this template, I'm going to click back on this car pattern. We're going to right click on green. We'll do the same thing, channels to selection. Go back to our layers. Above this one, we'll call this one layer 2. Okay. Right click on it, add layer mask. Make sure you're on selection. Hit add. And you can see it kind of populates this little stencil off to the right of the layer. You'll see what that does in a second. We're almost done. We're going to come back up here. We're going to grab our final color, which is blue. Don't want to turn it on. Just right click on blue, channel to selection, come back to our layers, and then above layer 2, got here. Above layer 2, we're going to make layer 3. And we'll do the same thing. Add layer mask, selection, hit add. Okay. Now, we're going to turn this off. We don't need to see it anymore. We're going to make sure we turn all of our channels back on, red, green, blue, and alpha. We'll come back over here, and this is our general base layout, right? Make sure you select none. The base color, I usually paint either white or black as a starter, depending on what kind of end paint scheme I'm going to go with of the car. Usually whichever color is going to dominate the car the most, I'll paint the base color that color. It helps kind of see if there's any bleeding through, if any lines don't quite completely touch each other. And then on that base layer itself, if there's any of those areas, you can kind of fill that in with a paint tool. Just whatever color stripe you're trying to match. We'll cover that a little bit further down. So we're just going to make our base layer white for now. Layer 1, we've got the Fendi palette loaded up, so we're just going to use the blue here and just bucket fill layer 1, and you can see it only bucket filled the areas that were masked off by that stencil. Come up to layer 2, we'll use a different color, red, bucket fill that, and you can see it's just filling in those areas that are masked off by that stencil. Layer 3, we'll make this one yellow. Just bucket fill it, and you can see it just fills in that areas, right? If you zoom in here, you can see how there's white below these lines. And so that's areas where the pattern itself doesn't quite touch all the way. Some of the background color is supposed to fill that in. And so you have a choice you can make. It's basically whichever color do you want to be more prominent in this area. So you can go to your base layer. We'll select red so that we make this stripe a little bit bigger. We take our paint tool, and on our base layer here, we're just going to paint along this, and you can see how it's just filling in that white line along the stripe, but it's not really touching anything else because it's got a mask over everything else. We're just filling in that kind of blank area and just kind of cleaning everything up, bringing everything to the edges. At the edge of these templates, usually the wire map cuts off kind of like that end stripe of these body panels, so you don't need to color all of these bits. I usually do, just because OCD is a hell of a thing. Areas like this, you kind of, like I said, you want to pick whichever color you're going to favor. If you want to get really technical, you can shrink your brush size down and just paint this area of your base layer red, and then select your yellow and paint the top layer yellow. And you can see how it just brings the yellow further down, or you can do the same thing in opposite and just bring the red a little bit further up. And that's one way to get those nice crisp lines for a lot of these decals. You can see, so we painted this section here by the door. I'll finish this one off just so you guys have a compare and contrast. We'll just kind of sloppily big brush this one on one side of the car, and then I'll show you what that looks like compared to the other side of the car itself. And then to test this, you're going to export it. Usually it's in your documents, so we're going to export as. Okay, go to iRacing. We're going to go to our paint folder in iRacing. You're going to find the car. We're working with the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. You find your iRacing driver number, and you're going to replace that. It's going to ask you if you want to export it and override it. Just export yes, 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 yes. We can go back to iRacing here, and this is that base layout that we have created. Now we look over on this side of the car, and you can see how there's that kind of white silhouette around a lot of these lines, right? If we come over here to this side of the car, there's no silhouette. And that's just from us filling in the base layer with one of the colors, right? We could have picked blue, we could have picked red in this instance. Here we could have picked red or yellow, really. I mean, you don't really want to use yellow for this upper bit where it touches the blue. But you see how you've got different things that you can play around with. And this car is starting to look a little familiar. So that's just kind of the basics of how to incorporate these iRacing templates into your existing liveries. As you can see, if we go over to this side and we fill in our base layer with red over here, export it again, and we go back to the Corvette. Now all those like little ghost lines around the paint are gone. So hopefully this is enough of a guide to help get you guys' foot in the door, get you guys started doing this livery design stuff, making you guys' paints. It's not as scary as it seems. There's a lot of buttons to play with, and I try and just press them all while I'm still learning. That way I don't mess up anything too important. I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.